20 years ago, I took a job down here south of Columbus with W.C. Bradley Farms. They did a little bit of deer hunting 20 years ago. About how many deer hunts are we doing a year right now?
Between 500 and 600.
Which got to be a pretty big deal.
It went from dozens of hunts to hundreds of hunts.
We brought Rusty in.
When you go from dozens of hunts to hundreds of hunts, you also go from a few deer shot to multiple deer shot over a large piece of property.
So remind me, how did we start actually data collection, sign in, sign out?
I can remember in the early days of our deer program, we were using paper sign in, paper sign out. The hunters literally had to come to a physical location before a hunt. And that was not ideal to a lot of our hunters, especially for early morning hunts if they were coming in from out of town. They didn't necessarily want to come to a shed in order to sign in and sign out on our notebook.
And for me, safety was a huge issue because when you've got, more than 50 stands out there and not knowing where everybody's at the same time when we're doing quail hunts and duck hunts and everything else, safety had to be an issue for us. So, at that point, Hunt Pro, when I first heard about it with the AI and the camera survey stuff, I was intrigued, but really the sitting down and talking to them about the construction of an app really got my interest.
We were already doing, for a property this size, obviously we're already doing a hunter survey, a camera survey, sorry. But if there's a way to make it more efficient in less time, when you're dealing with 40, 50 plus cameras, and most people only deal with 10, that takes a lot of time. And then also you're trying to compile that information in a timely fashion to get it back to the people that want to see what's going on. Couple that with the fact of 600 deer hunts, there's a lot of inefficiency there. So having one app that not only you can work with, but also that takes advice of we need this added. Can you add this? And to their credit, to the Hunt Pro folks' credit, they've been very responsive. Either yep, that's doable, or there's no way. And if it's doable, it's done very efficiently.
Okay, so you remember when we were using paper sign in, paper sign out? It was such a mess. Without Hunt Pro, we had to enter all that data at the end of the season. Somebody had to, and I've used every sort of system to get that data entered from the paper to the spreadsheet. And then, as you remember, everybody got a cell phone, so we started using group texting, and we had group texts flying all over the place to make a reservation for a deer stand, to sign in, to sign out. And at the end of the season, once again, somebody had to go through all those texts and create a spreadsheet with it before Hunt Pro. But now with Hunt Pro, it keeps all of that in one place.
It's all under one roof. Your maps are there with your stands geolocated. So a hunter or a guest that has never been to a piece of property before can look on their app, say this is where I'm going to hunt, or if a member reserved that for them, they can physically know where it is, they can physically know how to get there and get back. They can record everything they saw. So not only are we getting better observation data, we know a safety aspect, and employee on the farm is not having to monitor all that, and then in the end, you're not having to go back and put all the text together. And the other thing, when we were doing the text or the massive group messages, data was lost. Somebody would forget. Under Hunt Pro, if you're going to hunt, deer hunt, or turkey hunt, you have to sign in and sign out. You have to reserve it. And if you don't, then you don't get to go. And all that's together.
Yeah, I think Hunt Pro took everything we were doing and put it all, the best of everything we were doing, and put it all into one place.
It did. Also, because we have so many guests coming, we do waivers. Under the paper program, you had to physically sign the waiver, you had to hope somebody signed it, you had to track them, literally, no pun intended, hunt them down. Now, there's a waiver on the app. So if somebody's going to hunt, they have to sign the waiver, which they do electronically.
So Rusty, you've been working with us for about 11 years. And we did it a lot of different ways, but for the last 4 years, we've been using Hunt Pro. How do you feel like that has helped us be a little bit more efficient with everything we've talked about?
Trail camera survey has gotten more efficient from a couple of different aspects using Hunt Pro. So the hunters can see what bucks are there, and the caliber, up and comers, deer. Hey man, this is what. And the other thing I think pays off by family members being able to see it is they can say, hey, by me passing up these deer, this is what they can turn into. This is what all the hard work that goes into making a good quality buck equals to. That helps a lot because more people can see it. Using the trail camera survey, it's all under one house. I'm not having to worry about, did I lose a car, did I do this? I can create heat maps off of it. By using the trail camera survey, which we do post-season, I can create maps for the following season of these stands saw the most buck activity, because typically the camera locations are near stands, and they saw the most trophy bucks, or these stands saw the higher concentration of does, which in a managed property you have to manage more of your doe population. So we can go in and go, these locations need to probably be hit harder for doe management next year, and all that comes from using the trail camera survey, even to the point of where we need to trap more, where are more of our nest predators. And you can I create a heat map of, I saw more raccoons at these spots. We've got to trap heavier there because this is going to only hurt our turkey population, but quails and others.
Okay, so when I first started this as wildlife biologist here, we were doing everything we were recording everything on paper. So once HuntPro came into the picture, all of that observation data is entered immediately by the hunters as they leave the stand. So I can in real time download observation data. I can also download harvest data so that when we have a target doe, we have a target doe number every year that I create based off of your camera surveys. We can see how we're doing year to year. We can look and see in mid-November how are we doing so far. We can look in December and see how are we doing, so that it's not at the end of the season that we can all of a sudden decide if we did well or not.
Another thing I really like about HuntPro and what we've been able to do over the last, again, 20 years, with the growth of all the hunting that we do, not just deer hunting, and again, not to harp on safety, but it's a big deal. We're able to shut down zones with HuntPro, which is a great feature for us because not only do we possibly have 15 folks sitting in a deer stand for an afternoon quail hunt, but I got 2 buggies going out. And we can literally, go in there, shut down the 2 zones that we're quail hunting, which may shut down 5 deer stands over here and 5 over here. And it's a one touch. And so whether we're burning, it applies to our turkey hunts, because, here at the farm, we're liable to have 5 people walking or e-biking, and we're trying to put on, 5 turkey hunts that morning. So this zone thing has been a game changer for us here at the farm. I have loved the fact that you can turn on, turn off. We even had a case, I think it was last year, somebody called about a yellow jacket during deer season in a blind, and literally while the operations manager was calling one of our admins, they shut it off so nobody else. It's a great feature, the whole shutdown thing with HuntPro.
The beauty of HuntPro is that you actually can move away from that and it'll create population studies and other analyses for you on the fly. So it saves me a lot of time on that. But since I do have my spreadsheets that I like and the certain data that I like to look at, I also appreciate that I can download everything from HuntPro into my spreadsheet, filter it any which way I want. It helps us determine which stands are being used heavily, which stands are not being used at all, which stands we might need to consider moving for next season. It helps us know which users are using the place heavily. Do we have some hunters that are coming more often than others or bringing more guests than others? That's important for us to know too.
Any managed property always wants hunter observation data, and that's always something, even though it's critical to get, it's hard to get. With HuntPro, because you're able to break down every time a individual person hunts, does HuntPro help you go to those hunters who are not giving you observation data and help you coach them to give more data?
Being able to export all the information that gets put into HuntPro by the users helps me out a lot in so many ways. I can look at and see which hunters are turning in observation data and which hunters might not be. HuntPro helps me from the customer service side of things because I can go to each hunter individually and talk to them about the data that they've entered, or maybe they're not entering observation data, or they might have noticed a problem with a stand and we're able to go back to them and ask them what was going on. So we've all noticed that communication is huge in so many facets of life, but with hunting, it's a safety thing too. And so I know with Hunt Pro, every single person that has deer hunted or turkey hunted on our place has an account with Hunt Pro. So we're able to reach all of the hunters immediately through the communication feature of Hunt Pro. We can blast out a message, an emergency message, or maybe just an update message that we know everybody will receive. And that unlimited number of users in our account comes at no extra cost. You know, one of the first things we did when we set up our Hunt Pro account was to create the geofence within the map. So we use the auto-generated tax map property lines, but also we could tweak that and customize it a little bit too.
I would say something else too that Hunt Pro helps with is not just reserving deer stands, but we also have ponds, boats people can reserve, e-bikes, things like that. So versus having to contact somebody, we have those in there. They go, they reserve, guest reserves the boat. They say, I'm going fishing at this pond. Their administrators see it. So again, you're still doing the safety factor on the water, which is just as crucial as going deer hunting. Turkey season is a big factor here as well. That's a large season for us. We have zones set up. So think of a zone like a deer stand. A hunter can go reserve that zone and can do it up to 3 days ahead of time. We analyze that data the same way, but that hunter checks in, checks out, gives us observation data. We know what zones were hunted. We know where they are. We know where they're in there and when they're out. Not as a big brother, but as a safety aspect. If something happens, we know where to find them. There are other aspects to Hunt Pro that we haven't discussed. Is you can geolocate your stands. You can put wind direction, what's prevalent, what's not. A multitude of things, and also it does it 3 days out based on weather predictions. A lot of different great aspects to Hunt Pro. The other thing that we'll add to it, they're always looking for more and better ideas, and this conversation could obviously go on for a lot longer. Dan, what do you think?
So, in closing, I will tell you, Hunt Pro for us has been a one-stop shop. The family loves it, our guests love it, the employees love it. It's made things a lot better for us, a lot safer, as I've talked about throughout this, and I'm just super tickled with the whole thing.